Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the second day of National Apprenticeship Week. I'm your host, Ali from Career TV, and it's my pleasure to introduce the team from NDA who will be running through what opportunities they offer from an apprenticeship and show their early careers perspective as well. We hear about the programs they have on offer, their recruitment process, and we'll also get the inside track from current apprentices who'll share their experiences with us. Remember, there'll be a Q&A at the end of the session, so if you want to just leave your questions in the Q&A box, we'll come back to them at the end of the webinar. So without further ado, I will pass on to the NDA team for their session.
So I'm the NDA's Group Head of Leadership Skills and Talent. I hope that you can all hear me okay. I'm just going to talk to you for a few minutes at the front of the presentation, just to let you know a little bit about the NDA, a little bit about who we are, the programs that we offer, and some of the opportunities that you can get within the NDA, and hopefully really let you know why you should choose to look for an apprenticeship at the NDA Group. So the NDA Group we are the Nuclear Decommissioning Authority. We were created by the Energy Act in 2004, and we have a 150-year mission to lead the clean-up and decommissioning work on behalf of government. We're owners of one of the largest nuclear decommissioning and remediation programs in Europe, and we currently have over 17 sites across the UK. So that includes Wales, England, and Scotland. We are sponsored by a government department. We were yesterday sponsored by the Department for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy. And today we are sponsored by a new department, which will probably be the Energy Security department led by Grant Shapps, but we will know more about that over the next coming days. We've got offices across the UK, but our main populations are based in Cumbria, in Warrington, in Cheshire, in Dounreay, Harwell and London, but also big offices around Bristol and around Essex. And as I say, we've got 17 sites, so we do have bases across the UK. We employ over 17,000 permanent staff, and we have over 900 roles. And our sites include the first fleet of nuclear power stations, so those developed in the 1940s and 50s, 60s and 70s, research centres, fuel-related facilities, and Sellafield. So Sellafield is renowned as the site with the most complex radioactive inventory and is one of the most complex facilities to decommission in the world. So the NDA Group is made up of a number of different companies. So my role is based actually in the NDA as an organisation itself. So we're sponsored and funded by government, and we are a small organisation that really are set up to assure the rest of the NDA Group and to deliver the mission, provide the interface with government, secure the funding that we need to deliver the decommissioning, and drive collaboration across the group. I mentioned before around Sellafield. So Sellafield is our largest subsidiary business. They led the development of the UK's nuclear industry, from the production of plutonium to the development of nuclear power. And they are based primarily in Cumbria, but with a strong population in Warrington and Cheshire. We've got a very complex challenge of cleaning up the legacy of the site's early operations, and it's one of the most complex environmental restoration projects in Europe. Then we have Magnox. So Magnox are decommissioning 12 former nuclear power stations across the UK, and their mission is set to double in size as it decommissions a fleet of 7 advanced gas cool reactors across the UK that are currently operated by EDF. We have Nuclear Waste Services, so they're responsible for operating the low-level waste repository, and also we lead on research and looking for a suitable site to build and create the geological disposal facility, the GDF, which will be one of the largest civil engineering projects in Europe and across the globe when we actually start to break ground on that. And developing a GDF for the permanent disposal of higher activity radioactive waste, servicing the requirements of Magnox and Sellafield, but also other partners within the nuclear sector. Dounreay was once the UK Centre of Fast Reactor Research. It's sited in the far north Highlands of Scotland, about 8 miles from John O'Groats, and it operates a low-level waste disposal facility to deal with waste from the site. And then we also have our nuclear transport solutions. So they're a leading global provider of safe, secure and reliable nuclear transport solutions, operating both a rail and a sea fleet. And they also have offices and subsidiaries that are based in Japan and support the global nuclear sector in the transportation of waste. So those are the organisations that make up the NDA Group. So again, we have a multitude of sites, 17,000 people based across the UK and amongst those sites. And as I said at the beginning, over 900 different roles. We really pride ourselves in the NDA that one of our mission is one of environmental importance on a global nature. So sustainability is absolutely at the key of what we do. Our values, our commitment to sustainability, both for our people and for the environment, is absolutely key. And this is part of the message that we want to get across around how we will want to be and can be, with your help as the next generation of nuclear workers, be a really modern employer, contributing our role as global citizens and making a difference from a sustainable platform. So we've got a decommissioning legacy, so how we sustainably deal with the nuclear fuel and the buildings and the sites.
I think we have lost her. Does anyone like to take up on the strategy summary?
I can move on from strategy summary. Jack's basically covered all that. As she said, we're really proud of our sustainability strategy that we've got. So I'm just going to move on to some more about sustainability. So the decommission of the oceanic printail set the standard others must follow after 100% of the 3,865-ton specialist nuclear vessels were recycled. So there's just one of the things that our sustainability strategy has done. So some of our early career opportunities include things in disciplines such as cyber and IT, project controls and project management, business administration, commercial, finance, engineering, science, nuclear operatives, quantity surveying, construction, health physics monitoring / radiological protection. So as you can see, there's many different roles that we offer, and I'm sure that there's going to be something that one of you will be interested in. So as you can see on the right hand side, we have our different vacancy websites and our different just websites as well for each opco. And as you can see, the NDA is tasked with safely and securely decommissioning the nation's oldest nuclear sites, removing the burden for future generations. Jack, do you want to take over again now that we've got you back?
Yeah, can you hear me now, Rebecca?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that. So Rebecca's just gone through some of the opportunities that we have. We've had some questions in the chat. We will be sharing the presentation, so you'll be able to see those, and you'll be able to access the links to our different operating companies' opportunities. We would really like for you to to look at what the opportunities that we have and to feel free to apply. And then our final slide is just around our employee network. So this is really around how we are committed to and supporting being a modern employer through our diversity and inclusion. I'm not going to go through the slides. You can all read through it after the event, but please feel free to ask any questions and to explore some of these opportunities that we provide. I think that's it from me, Rebecca.
Thanks for that, Jack. So now we're going to be moving on to our apprentice panel part of the session. So I'm going to kick off first. So hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Boyd. I'm a level 3 business administration apprentice with the NDA. I started my apprenticeship in September of 2021, and I've been on the scheme for about 17 months now. And I'm actually due to finish my apprenticeship in about 3.5 weeks' time. So today I'm just going to talk you a bit through my apprenticeship, what attracted me to this particular apprenticeship and what attracted me to work in the nuclear sector. So one of the reasons why I wanted to work in the nuclear sector is because I've basically grown up around nuclear. I live in West Cumbria, so as if you do live in West Cumbria yourself, you'll know that nuclear is very prevalent around here, with Sellafield site and the low-level waste repository site practically on our doorsteps. And along with that, a lot of my family have worked in the nuclear sector and in NDA Group as well. So I've seen firsthand what sort of opportunities and career paths that the nuclear sector can offer. Another big reason why I wanted to join the nuclear sector is because, and specifically in the NDA, our mission of nuclear decommissioning and cleanup is a mission that's going to last way beyond my lifetime and beyond our old generation's lifetime. So this to me was a sort of job security. So I found out about my scheme through a Facebook advertisement. So I'd applied for a lot of different disciplines such as health physics and procurement, but then when I found my business administration apprenticeship scheme advertised on Facebook, I thought I might as well apply for that as well, and obviously it's landed me in a very good situation. Some highlights of my apprenticeship include my HR placements. So I first started a HR placement in July of last year, and that was with the HR operations team in the NDA. And I really enjoyed that, really thought it was really good, got me a lot of different opportunities and exposure across group. And then I also moved into the HR talent team in October, which is where I still reside. So this to me was really important for me because this has made me realise that HR is what I want to pursue after my apprenticeship. It's the career path that I want to go down. Other different highlights include the different opportunities, especially for exposure and networking, because for me personally, I'm a very people person. I love meeting new people and making these new connections. So some of these different opportunities included our NDA staff event that was held in May last year, which allowed me to connect and make relationships with other people across our company that I wouldn't usually speak to. And we had an NDA Group HR conference in November of last year, which again allowed me to connect with HR professionals across the group, speak to people that I wouldn't normally speak to, and again, build on relationships that I already had. Last week, I was in Nuclear Week in Parliament at the Skills Fair, which again led me to meet new people across different companies, not just in NDA Group, but outside of the NDA Group too, and also meet MPs that have the same passion for nuclear that we do. So when I was in year 11, I did not know what I wanted to do with my career. So I decided to go to sixth form, hoping that it would help me think about what I wanted to do, give me some different opportunities, different exposure. And that's when, again, I found my apprenticeship scheme, and that's when I applied for that. When I was in sixth form, I didn't really take any relevant subjects to the job that I'm doing now, so I didn't take business, but that hasn't mattered in my job because obviously I've had the correct training that I needed. But sixth form did help me with a lot of life skills. It helped me develop the skills that I already have and develop new ones. Made me develop new connections, new friendships, allowed me to do things that I wouldn't. Hopefully completing my level 5 CIPD, which is my HR qualification, and to stay within the NDA. In 5 years' time, I see myself as a qualified HR professional and hopefully still within the NDA Group. So that's just a bit about me and my apprenticeship. So now I would like to pass on to Molly.
Hello, I'm Molly. I work for Direct Rail Services for the NTS, and I'm based at Kingmore Depot in Carlisle. So I originally trained in the arts, actually, with a view to becoming a lighting and sound technician in theatres. I actually have a degree in theatre studies and worked in the industry for about 6 years before I decided it wasn't quite what I was hoping it would be. So I wanted to retrain in something. And I searched online for an apprenticeship scheme. I actually think I went through Indeed and all that kind of thing first, and it wasn't looking great. And I found it on the DRS website. I was actually a couple of days late in the application process, but it actually meant I was able to come in before committing to anything and shadow members of staff over about 10 weeks. And this gave me such a great insight into the work involved here and the level of training that I would need. And I absolutely loved it. So I couldn't wait for the next opportunity to apply, and I did, and I got it. So I'm very happy. I actually began my training in September of 2019 and have a little over 6 months left. So that's 4 years. My apprenticeship is titled the Maintenance, Operations and Engineering Technician, which is electrically biased. That's my level 3. But I'm also doing a HNC, which is multi-skilled, and that's like a level 4. And my end game is to be a qualified fitter here at Kinmore. So the repair and maintenance we do here means we perform exam work, which I suppose are like MOTs, but the most basic are called A and the most extensive are G. And each day is really, really different. We can include regular maintenance, such as filter changes, to much larger repairs, which can use like cranes and jacks and big machines that we need to operate, or they can be very small and intricate electrical jobs. I enjoy getting stuck in and grubby, and the opportunities to test my knowledge and show my mentors just how much they've taught me over such a short space of time is really cool. I'm more or less already in set to do my endpoint assessment. That's in a couple upcoming weeks, and that's as well as my competencies, one of which I completed last week, which is my axle bearing course and my snowplow course. My overhead crane course is upcoming as well, so there's a lot going on. In the next 5 years, I would hope to be heavily involved and competent in the role of fitter at Kinmore. The upcoming months will see the end of my apprenticeship, my HNC and my competencies, and hopefully guide me into further learning, such as a HND, which is a level 5. With this, I would hope to attain a higher understanding of things like PLCs for more in-depth repair on our newer fleet, because we're well underway with really, really big exams on one of our fleet. So the newer one, which is like an electro-diesel Class 88, we might integrate that into their maintenance schedule as well. I was also involved in Nuclear Week in Parliament, where we actually got to go and tour Parliament, which was amazing. I was representing the NDA Group and NTS. Here I was able to network with MPs and apprentices within other subsidiaries of the NDA, which is the first. I've not been able to do that yet, so it was great to meet you all. We discussed the positive and promising future in the careers within the nuclear power and the security and longevity that Rebecca's just mentioned that is surrounding all of those. It was eye-opening to be exposed to the many opportunities available, each as valid to the cause and the sustainability goal of the NDA as the next. And we were able to share what we got up to day to day and gain a wider understanding of the processes and reasoning of our own work and the way in which it affects the wider vision of the company. So it was really, really good. I hope that's covered.
Thanks for that, Molly. So that was Molly from NTS, and now I would like to pass it on to Daniel.
I'm not sure if you can see me, my screen's blank, but I'm Dan. I'm currently training to be a nuclear welding inspector for Sellafield. The way that I found out about my apprenticeship was I did an access course beforehand through a local training provider called Gen 2, where I learned my basic skills in engineering and was able to obtain a BTEC level 3 engineering qualification at the end of it. I was lucky enough to get this because at the start I did apply for sixth form, but quite quickly I realised that wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to do the engineering route and do something more specialised and get something out of it. So by doing this, it excelled me in a lot of areas very quickly, or more quickly than I would have expected, as I would have been able to do sixth form beforehand. I think it just shows more than anything that there is a lot of different paths that you can go down. You don't just have to go to sixth form, you don't have to go to uni, then thinking about apprenticeship. You can come straight out of school, do an access course, go straight into an apprenticeship. And luckily for me, I was through my access course and then straight into an apprenticeship, which is what I wanted to do. And then while I'm in my time, so I'm in my 4th year so far, it's been extended by a year because of COVID. But my highlights through my course so far would be my secondments, gaining the HNC while doing my apprenticeship, and also getting the chance to travel to different places in the UK to gain different experiences and skills. So at the moment, I am on the PFCS program through Sellafield, which is a major project, which is the pile fuel cladding silo retrieval process so far. So this is where they're taking the nuclear waste and sludge out of these legacy ponds and silos and storing them safely. So I've been lucky enough to have a look around these boxes, use a scope, which is a camera on a lead, and look into intricate parts of it into more detail. So this has been really good for me. And before I was able to do this, I was able to go up to the site that makes them, look around their facilities, all the different tools they use and equipment, and meet a couple of the guys that are also part of the major projects, which I'm enjoying and I'm still doing at the moment. As well as that, then the things that attracted me mostly to the nuclear industry was the opportunity and career paths that was being offered. So I didn't only apply to be a nuclear welding inspector, I also applied to be electrical and mechanical. And luckily for me, I did get the welding inspector one, which is what I wanted from the start. So I feel like I'm very lucky to do all that sort of stuff and get the chance to do it. And that's everything for me. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Daniel. So that was Daniel at Sellafield, and now I would like to pass it on to Callum.
Hello, I'm Callum. I'm a fourth year mechanical fitting technician from Dunray. Fourth year apprentice. I am currently doing college as well as my trade apprenticeship. So I found out my apprenticeship by during school. Carl, our line manager, she is very engaging to promote our apprenticeship through the schools. And during schools, I wasn't really I didn't enjoy school a lot, and I didn't fancy going to uni at all. So I was a very hands-on person and really wanted to go for an apprenticeship. And during my time at school, there's a big competition for the apprenticeship at Dunray due to how popular it is, as a lot of our community work for Dunray. It's a very small county for us, and there's over 2,000 people that work here. So as including my family as well. So coming from a long line of fitters, going back from my great granddad, I always wanted to be a fitter, and I applied for the apprenticeship through the school. The school they're really good at promoting the apprenticeships, and essentially we do all our testing and stuff through the school, and we then once we've done all our testing, we go for an interview, which I wasn't successful in my first year, and I managed to gain my position in the second year. So it was very well promoted, and it was all on social media as well. So during that period of time where all the apprenticeships come out, it's a competition between all the companies for all the apprentices. My highlights for the apprenticeship is I've obtained my SVQ level 2, so the qualifications are a little different. So that's the Scottish vocational qualification. So my level 2 is basic working with lace and milling machines and doing different fitting and maintenance projects and stuff, which then and that in our first year of college we also do our NC, which when we go into our second year, we get onto site, and we're part-time in the college. So due to COVID, we missed a year of that, so it was all online. And we completed our HNC all online, which was pretty hard. And then we got back to site and started my HND, and I'm hopefully finishing my HND this year, as well as my apprenticeship in 3 months. So transferring from school to work, it was very easy for me, because I was good at the schoolwork, but I didn't have the desire to go to uni. So it was easy to do the qualifications, but it was a lot easier to do the practical work, which makes it so easy for doing my job now. And there's no exams; it's just small assessments for us. So it's not too terrifying for our assessments. What attracted me to the nuclear industry was obviously it being a very popular company throughout the community. My family have previous generations of health physics, admins, and fitters as well, which have worked a small amount during their time at Dunray. And yeah, my plans for after my apprenticeship, I would like to become a fully qualified technician, and I would like to go on to study my degree, hopefully, if I can pass my HND first, and maybe pursue a career as an engineer. But for just now, it would definitely be to just perfect my craft as a tradesman. And that's me.
Thanks for that, Callum. So that was Callum from Dunray, and now I'd like to pass on to Lewis.
Hi everyone, so I'm Lewis. I work at NWS. I'm a procurement and commercial supply apprentice. I've been with the company for a year and a half now. So what I was looking for to get into the nuclear industry was to be able to build a career. And the fact that there is long-term work, it was a great draw. I applied to do my apprenticeship via the Gen 2 scheme. It was originally to get into Sellafield. Unfortunately, I wasn't successful, but my CV was sent to other companies, and NWS gave me an interview and then offered me the apprenticeship. With the apprenticeship, I've had quite a few highlights. The main one is moving around the company within different. So I spent 6 months in different areas of the commercial business. So it's allowing me to gain a wide range of contacts, as well as obviously working with different people and understanding different parts of the commercial part of the business. Of it transferring from school, I left school 9 years ago, so I'm quite late taking up an apprenticeship. But I found it was going to be the best way for me to gain a qualification whilst also earning. So like I say, I've been out of school for 9 years before starting my apprenticeship, so it was quite good. My plans after the apprenticeship, so I'm currently studying for my level 4 SIPS qualification, which is Chartered Institute of Purchasing and Supply. So once I've completed that, hopefully by the end of this year, I will be able to then move on to level 5. Hopefully there's no set role within the business at the minute for me yet, but hopefully once I've passed my apprenticeship, there will be somewhere that comes up that I can move into, and then like I say, I can get started on my level 5 SIPS qualification, and then once that's done, the aim is to do level 6 as well, which is the highest level. So that's my plans for after my apprenticeship. In 5 years' time, I do see myself working in commercial. It probably being, I see myself working in more contract management instead of procurement. I seem to find that a bit better than the procurement side, but that's just my personal experience. But like I said, doing an apprenticeship and doing it where you can move around the business does allow you to gain the experience for your future of which part of the business you enjoy the most. Like I say, once you've got your qualification in whatever area it is, it does allow you to move forward with a career. And like I say, you can plan for the long term of where you would like to work or what you would like to do in the future. That's me.
Thanks, Lewis. So that was Lewis from our Nuclear Waste Services company. And now I would like to pass over to Holly.
Hiya. My name's Holly. I work for Magnox. I'm a Maintenance Operatives Engineering Technician Electrical, which is a real mouthful. Basically, I'm an electrician. I really enjoyed my job. I've been doing it since September 2020, and I've got about a year left, roughly. I wanted to work for the nuclear industry because I have a real passion for electrical science. I've found it interesting since I did my level 2 in electrical installation back in 2019. I found it really interesting, and nuclear in particular, to find my job in the first place was quite difficult actually. I applied for like every apprenticeship I could find within like a 150-mile radius. So I lived like quite near London, and now I work in Winfrith down on the southwest coast. So I've had to move to get my apprenticeship and to start working on site. Initially they sent me for a year at college in Bridgewater. So that was a really valuable experience. I learned a lot there, especially like during COVID when we all had to do virtual lessons and things like that. It allowed me to get a better understanding of the basics of all maintenance side of things. So I did control instruments and mechanical engineering as well as electrical. So it's really given me a valuable insight into all sorts of engineering technicalities, basically. I found out about the scheme through Indeed. I had to set my search radius to about 150 miles or something. But eventually I found the job and I applied for it, and I never thought I'd get it. But then I got the interview, which, as I said in my bio, it wasn't easy. It was a challenge, but it was one that you sort of have to rise to. It was valuable because I felt like they were really trying to get to know me rather than get to know what I know, basically. Because the whole point in having an apprenticeship is that you learn on the job. You learn as you go, and you're learning from industry professionals who already have the knowledge, and they want to pass it on to you. The people I work with here at Winfrith, they know so much, especially about this site in particular. A lot of them have been here since like the 80s or something. They've been here a very long time, and they know exactly what they're doing with each piece of equipment. So you get a real expertise in whatever it is that you're interested in. The highlights of my apprenticeship so far, just last week actually, I went to the Nuclear Skills Fair up in London for to meet politicians and go to Parliament. We had a tour, like a private tour of Parliament, which was really good, really good, a really good opportunity. And that's the sort of opportunity you get when you're an apprentice. It is sort of set up for you so that you get these amazing opportunities, and you get to learn so much sort of on the job, and just doing that sort of thing where they send you different places to learn different things and talk to different people in different companies. So I met people from Cavendish Nuclear, EDF, sort of generation companies, and Rolls-Royce, who are making the small modular reactors. So I learned a lot, and I saw a lot of people who I never would have got the chance to see otherwise. Also, I went to Yeovilton Fleet Air Arm Museum in my second year of my apprenticeship with the college, which was really good. We learned a lot about the maintenance of aircraft and how it ties into plant-based maintenance on site. And then we had to give a presentation to a load of industry professionals, which, while it was quite a lot of stress, it was also a really good opportunity for us apprentices to have. And as long as you practiced, it was fine. It wasn't too scary anyway. I found the most interesting question I was given the transfer from school to work, because no one's ever really asked me that. If you'd have told me before the age of 19 what I'd be doing now, no way, surely not. I only sort of found my real passion when I turned 18, and from then on, I haven't stopped sort of going up. Especially getting an apprenticeship gives me a really good chance to sort of evaluate my own skill level. So I knew where I was when I sort of started the apprenticeship, and now I've done a year at college and I got a lot more basic knowledge of sort of mechanical side of things and control instruments and all that sort of thing. It's allowed me to develop my knowledge a lot, sort of, and keep track of how I'm advancing, so I can discuss with my managers any gaps that I have in my knowledge and where I want to be. So say I wanted to get a qualification in a different side of the site, so I'd like to one day maybe go into control instruments. I can go to my manager and say, after I've done my apprenticeship, here's my goal, and they'll help me reach it. You know, once you get to know people, they understand what you're good at, what your passions are, and it's really valuable. I've also said about how during A levels I studied completely different subjects to what I'm doing now. I did theatre, English, and media, and while I enjoyed them all, I decided that theatre wasn't really what I wanted to be doing in the long term. So I went and did my level 2 in electrical installation. Initially, I only did that because my family's in sort of electrics and building in general. But I went and did it, and I found that I was actually pretty good at it, and I found it fascinating, which was a surprise because science was never really my strong subject in school. Sort of science and maths had never sort of been my forte. But that's the beauty of having my apprenticeship, is that it hasn't had to be. They've put me a lot of the work that I've done has been coursework based. So we did a calculus unit at college, which I never thought I'd pass. But because it was coursework, it gave you the chance to go through it with an industry professional, a teacher who would sit there and he wouldn't stop teaching until we understood it. And it was just really valuable going to that college and meeting so many other people who have the same interests. Especially that's another thing. The beauty of apprenticeships is that you're all there, you're all being paid to learn, you're there to learn the same sort of thing, and you can support each other. You know, you're learning together in an environment where you're all very similar. Yeah, so that's a good thing about the nuclear industry as well, is that they'll send you to a college where there's other people doing similar things but different. So, for example, last week when I went to the skills fair, I met the people from in other subsidiary companies of the NDA, from the transport services and waste services, and everyone from those companies as well, which I didn't even know were an opportunity before. So these opportunities, they just keep expanding for me in particular, and just for every apprentice under the NDA, from what I can see anyway. I was talking to them about what they do in like a day-to-day sort of job, and I was there like, yeah, you know what, that's really interesting, and if that's ever something that I want to go into, then it's an opportunity. The place is there. After my apprenticeship, I'd like to do a degree level apprenticeship and become an engineer. That's my ultimate goal, especially in control systems, because I just find them really interesting. It's a different system for everything you're working on. The variety is there, and I can't just, you know, if that's the sort of thing that you love variety in a workplace, you love keeping things interesting and learning new things about different things, then yeah, I'd say it's a really good industry to be working in, because there's always more to learn, always. Nobody knows it all, and it's actually quite interesting seeing how much apprentices can teach other people. What apprenticeship levels do you have? So we have, from what I know, we've got level 3, which I'm doing, and then I have friends who are studying a level 5 apprenticeship. They're trying to get it made into a level 6 so that they can do the dissertation and then get HNC level. but at the moment they do level 3 and level 5 at Magnox in mechanical, control instruments and electrical, like me, as well as other sort of apprenticeships. I know there's like a product sourcing apprenticeship, all that sort of thing. There's more office-based apprenticeships available, all that sort of thing. In 5 years' time, I'd like to have a control instrument degree and have a full-time job as an NDA engineer. I would like to do that at Magnox because it's just a really good company to work for, I think. I can't really think of any downsides. It's good working hours, Monday to Thursday. It's good pay, especially as an apprentice. The pay here, if that's, you know, something that's important to you, the pay is pretty good, I have to say. You know, I won't complain about it, that's for sure. But yeah, I'd say working for the NDA, there's 5 different companies that you can achieve your goals in, and I can't stress more, if you like variety and you like having opportunities, then come work for the NDA. Thank you.
Thanks, Holly.
Thanks.
Holly from Magnox. Jack, I'll pass it over to you.
So I can see that there's a number of questions in the Q&A, Rebecca, so I'm just going to try and pick up a few. I apologise, I am on my phone, so it's slightly difficult to navigate, but I'm just going to start from the top. So there's a question from Anal around, do we work with local schools and colleges to promote our apprenticeship programme? We do work with local schools and colleges. We tend to channel most of our information through our various websites. And we also have been working with an organisation called Developing Experts, where we've been developing actual curriculum that's centred on nuclear that schools can utilise. But again, I think that through Career Map, we'll be pushing some more information out around our apprenticeships. So just watch this space, and please get in touch with the team if there's anything more than we can do. I've got a question from Jackson, which is, what's a small modular reactor? So a small modular reactor is what we call an SMR, and basically it's a factory produced nuclear reactor to produce nuclear energy and electricity, and basically it's the same technology that's utilised in some of the larger nuclear sites such as Hinkley Point C, but it's produced from a factory-based setting. And as part of the government's energy security strategy and the creation of a new business department for energy security and net zero today, they are taking forward the policy and the strategy around the use of SMR technology in the production of energy. And then there is a question around scholarships of financial assistance. So we actually do fund some bursaries that are distributed by one of our partner organisations, which is the it's NSAN. So that's the I can't even remember what NSAN stands for. I think Keisha might be able to help me. But if you search nuclear bursaries, you will be able to look for those. We do open that round a couple of times a year, and they are focused on key skills gaps that we have within the nuclear sector, and also around how we can help those individuals who are, you know, struggling more financially to take further study on board and to potentially need some further assistance. But those are the scholarships and the bursaries that we do offer. And then there's a question here from Haley, and I'm going to open this up to some of the apprentices on the call. So can apprentices expect to work on live projects and gain hands-on experience in the field of nuclear decommissioning? So I don't know which one of the apprentices on the call wants to answer that. Rebecca, you might be able to help us orientate around that.
So I myself in business admin, I don't have hands-on experience in decommissioning, but obviously I do get involved in lots of different projects going on within the team, lots of different tasks. So yeah, you do get a lot of hands-on experience in that sense if you're going down the more office-based route rather than sort of in the field somewhere. But I'm sure Molly would be able to help with this question more.
So as far as the decommissioning side of it is here, we don't deal directly with anything nuclear. We maintain engines and locomotives. So if it was something off the beaten track of a nuclear, excuse me, that was totally it is just maintenance, engine work, mechanical, electrical, depending on your qualification bias. So yeah, as far as the nuclear life handling, there's nothing like that here.
So I think just to pick up on that, Rebecca, there's a couple of questions about safety and security also in the chat, in the Q&A session. Apprentices and our trainees, including our graduates, our new intake of employees, do get real world experience and are engaged in decommissioning. However, it is only at the appropriate time where they are appropriately trained, where they are educated and supported to a level where they can handle the situation that they're put in. I have to say that the nuclear industry is one of the safest industries in the world. We are very, very heavily regulated. We've got 17,000 people. Approximately 1,500 people will work within our health and safety functions. So really providing the assurance and the compliance and auditing us to make sure that what we do is safe, it is secure, that we're using the most up-to-date technological innovations and technology to make sure that that's as safe as possible. But we have a fantastic safe record around decommissioning. But we do really, really encourage our trainees and our apprentices to get real world experience and real world training. So there's a question here from Haley. What kind of training and support is provided during your apprenticeships? I'm going to go to Keisha, who manages and leads on some of our programs.
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. So in terms of training and support that's offered, there's a few things actually. So when a successful candidate who joined the company would have a company lead. So for their sponsoring organisation, you may have heard that you'll be employed by a company called NDA who facilitate all of our early careers programs for us. They will provide mentors and buddies and training. You'll also get a kind of various budgets and opportunities to go to NHS and network with kind of various cohorts across the group. So that would be across all of the programs. So in terms of networking, there's a lot of opportunity in terms of training and support. Again, tenfold. You'll be supported by NHS, by your sponsoring organisation and your company lead. And then, as I've said, by the apprentices on programme as well, and by graduates as well. There's also kind of various networks, which I know we covered a little bit earlier. So we've got the Young Generation Network who are here as well. We have representatives from across the sector. So that's not just NDA Group, that's kind of various companies within the sector, and various opportunities there to get involved, as well as with our STEM ambassadors as well. So hopefully that covers that question.
Thanks, Keisha. So there's a question around, are there any IT apprenticeships in the nuclear industry, or is it all about waste handling? So just to give you an idea of the scope and the breadth of the apprenticeship pathways that we run. So we have over 900 roles and different roles within the organisation. We run different apprenticeships ranging from, some of our traditional technical engineering, our maintenance operators. We've heard from some of those people today. We also run a significant amount of apprenticeships around business admin, HR, communications. IT is a specific focus area for us, especially around cyber, different roles within IT, whether that's around IT architects, around providing cyber security, around digital, and the more kind of communications-led IT. But there's a plethora of opportunities around IT, as well as some of our, more different apprenticeships. We have apprentice train drivers. We're looking at exploring apprentice seafarers around our shipping fleet. We have occupational therapists. We have clinical apprenticeships. We have firefighting apprenticeships. We have driving apprenticeships. So there's a massive range of different opportunities that we have. Some of them we have larger numbers where we recruit every year. But for instance, Sellafield yesterday announced that they're increasing the amount of apprentices that they're recruiting by over 20% in 2023. So just one of our organisations is recruiting 300 apprentices. There are opportunities all over the UK around our different operating companies. And sometimes you will only really understand which pathway you would like to explore and develop yourself in once you start having that conversation and move forward with us. But I would just encourage you to do your research, get in touch, have a conversation, join some of the events that we've got running across the group this week, and also some of the different information events that we'll have as we move forward into kind of our recruitment phases. We've just got another couple of questions. So can you describe the opportunities for career progression and advancement for apprentices within your organisation? What do most apprentices do after completing their programme? And again, you know, there's a range of opportunities. We have some former apprentices who were on the execs of some of our operating companies. We've previously had chief execs who started their careers off as apprentices. We've started a new programme last year around finance, audit and risk, where we're actually taking people through their professional SEMA accountancy qualifications using apprenticeship pathways. We run master's level programs at apprenticeships. We run level 2 right the way through from level 2 to level 7. We support people to undertake and complete degrees and degree level study, as well as postgraduate study after they've completed their apprenticeships. But really, we are very focused on developing our people. Our employee value proposition doesn't just stop when you complete your apprenticeship and get a job. We've heard from some of the great young people on the call today around their future ambitions and where they want to go to. You know, my advice is that, you know, when you enter into the nuclear industry, that may not be where you end up, if you like. I like to think of people's careers as more looking like a tube map of London than a kind of binary 45-degree trajectory. And I think that sometimes you just need to enter into some of these industries to understand some of the opportunities that there are. Just some of the questions. So can you share any examples of how the NDA Group is working to increase public understanding and acceptance of nuclear power? So I think there's twofold really. I think one is that's not just the NDA's responsibility. You know, government plays a massive role in this. There's a really big renaissance around nuclear currently, and today we've seen a mini reshuffle and reorganisation of government departments. So today the new Department for Energy Security and Net Zero has been launched, which again reinforces the affinity that we've demonstrated to you today around our links with not just, you know, making the world a safer place and cleaning up the nuclear legacy, but also in our commitment to sustainability. That is being reflected in government. Energy security is around how we sustain and create, you know, our own energy supply, how we lower those energy bills, how we keep the lights on in UK PLC moving forward, but also how we become, you know, and retain our position as a leader in nuclear technologies. You know, we really are the global leader in decommissioning. We work with the international partners such as Japan and France and Finland and the US and Canada and Australia, just to name but a few, really around how we share our expertise and how we develop and maintain that global leadership and that thought leadership. And a lot of that is around the communication and the myth busting around the nuclear industry. But it's a great place to work. The opportunities are fantastic. The development's second to none, and you can have a really, really great career. I think that we've answered most of the the questions. So I'm not sure that if there's any more. I'm just going to hand over to Keisha.
I have a question.
Just to kind of say, oh, okay.
For your apprentices there, and obviously going into the apprentice, there's a lot of people in the chat maybe like not really sure what's it going to involve, or it might be misconceptions that you're not really sure about. Did your apprenticeships match up to your expectations, or was there some things that maybe found were maybe misconcepted?
I can kick off with this one. I can confidently say that all my expectations have been met. I have thoroughly enjoyed my apprenticeship, and I would not have changed a thing. If anyone's wondering whether they should go for an apprenticeship, I would definitely recommend going for one, because it's the whole thing of you earn while you learn. I've developed so many new skills. If you asked me to do this in September 2021, I would have cried. But now I'm so confident with speaking to new people. I used to be so introverted, but now I don't stop talking. So yeah, I would definitely recommend an apprenticeship.
Great. What about the other guys?
Hello. Yeah.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah. So it probably exceeded my expectations doing an apprenticeship. Obviously, once you've been out and been in a working environment, you can there's a preconception with apprentices that you always get left with the mundane tasks, the sort of boring end of the tasks, and you're there just as a help out. But the fact that you're allowed to get involved with stuff and actually take initiative for certain things, it provides you with ways to boost your learning and getting involved. It's not just putting data into this spreadsheet or such like that. It's actually getting involved with the sort of meaty stuff that everyone else gets involved with in the working place.
Very good answer.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that actually, and mine has been massively exceeded too, just because I did come into the game really late. Much of the people who were on the apprenticeships, particularly in my first year, who were in the college, were 16 and I was about 27 when I started. So I didn't think I'd be able to ever catch up with things like calculus or stuff that I didn't have any interest in school. But everyone was so supportive, and it's been brilliant, and really caught up. So I'm really chuffed with everyone.
Amazing. Is that everyone? Lovely. Well, who was it who said they did the theatre English? Was it moving image or is it arts?
That was Holly, but she's not on the call anymore.
Oh, she did the exact same subjects as me. We went on the same route. But anyway, that is all we have time for our seminar. Thank you to the NDA team for joining us today and answering all your questions and my questions. Hope you all found it insightful and useful. Remember, this is recorded and put onto our website, so if you missed anything, you can go back and watch it. Don't worry. Now on to the NDA team. Do you have any final words of advice for our listeners and viewers?
My only advice would be ask us questions, apply for the roles, and take a chance.
Great. Amazing. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think same here. I think it's definitely an organisation where you can come, gain a lot of exposure and do a lot of really exciting things. So yeah, definitely consider it and give us a shout.
Great. Well, there you go, guys. Take the advice. Cheerio, everyone.